Okay, so what we have here today is the Ruger LCP Max versus the all-new Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0. Now, for those not familiar with the LCP Max, this is the undisputed king of pocket carry. It took Ruger's LCP2 design and introduced a stack and a half 10-round flush fit magazine in a very similarly sized pocket gun. Tritium front sight, blacked out U-notch rear. This is the undisputed king of pocket carry, or at least it was. Now it's got a competitor, Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0. This is a very similarly sized 380 flush fit 10-round mag. It's got a blacked out U-notch rear and a orange front sight with a tritium insert. So let's talk about the difference in these. As you can see, they're very, very similar in size. If you line them up muzzle to muzzle, the Smith & Wesson is a little bit longer. If you stand them up beside each other with the same mags, they're basically the exact same height. If you look at the thickness, I don't know which one's actually thicker, but the Smith & Wesson's grip feels thinner. What are the differences in these two? What are the main differences? Well, the Ruger comes with one flush fit 10-round magazine. Now you can purchase separately for about $40 a 12-round magazine with an extender. You get a full grip that way. With the flush fit 10-round magazine that comes with the Ruger, you do not get a full grip, or at least I don't. I almost do, but that pinky wants to hang off. Now it does come with a pinky extender base plate, but it keeps the capacity at 10 rounds. And if you want the 12-round mag, you gotta buy it separate. With that, I do get a full grip. On the Smith & Wesson, because of this undercut of the trigger guard right here, I get a full grip on the flush fit 10-round mag. Very comfortable full grip. Now, not only does the Smith & Wesson come with this flush fit 10-round mag, it also comes in the box with a 12-round extended mag. You get way more than enough grip with that mag. Once again, similarly sized to the Ruger with the 12-round mag. The exact same height if you stand them up. But look how much extra grip you get because of that undercut trigger guard. The Ruger, I'm pretty close to the bottom on the 12-round magazine. Now, I've had this and carried it quite a lot since they first came out, and I've really liked it. It's a nice gun. Until this Smith & Wesson came out, the LCP Max for me was the undisputed king of pocket carry. Nothing else came close for the size, weight, and capacity of the LCP Max. So why did I even get the Smith & Wesson? Well, it's got several things that I consider to be huge improvements over the LCP Max. The first one of those being it's available with a manual safety, and it's ambidextrous. The LCP Max is not available with manual safety. Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0 you can get with the safety. Me personally, I know a lot of people don't like safeties. Me personally, if I'm going to be pocket carrying something with one in the chamber, I want a manual safety. So that was one of the main draws for me. Second big advantage over the LCP Max. Takedown. Let me go get a case so I can show you how the LCP Max takes down. It's not toolless. The LCP Max, unfortunately, needs a tool to be taken down, which in most cases is going to end up being an empty 380 case. So to take the LCP Max down, you have to put the rim. Screwdriver works too, but I use the rim of a case. Put it behind this pin right here. Just like that. And then pop it out. Pull that out. Now your slide can come off. And from there, it's pretty easy. Recoil, spring, and guide rod. Barrel your slide. Now there's nothing wrong with that. But look at the Smith & Wesson. Walk back the slide. You've got a little ejector right there. Flip it down. And turn your takedown lever. Comes apart. Your recoil spring and guide rod is captured. And then your barrel. Toolless takedown. Much easier than the Ruger. Now I'll show you another thing that heavily drives me to the Smith & Wesson. Let me move some of these parts out of the way. And I'll show you what I consider to be a major safety feature that the Smith & Wesson has that the Ruger does not have. Smith & Wesson has a firing pin safety, just like you would find on a Glock or whatever else. The striker, I'm pushing on the striker, you'll notice it's not protruding out of the breech face. Only if I depress this detent can it come out. You'll see when I pulled it back, that thing popped back down, can't come out. The Ruger is fired, it's not striker fired, it's got an internal hammer and it's got a firing pin. No firing pin safety of any kind. Push on the firing pin. Now it does have a heavy spring, but yeah, there you go. This spring is likely heavy enough that this is drop safe, I would imagine. I mean, I'm not saying Ruger makes dangerous guns, but almost every modern semi-automatic pistol has a firing pin safety. Ruger. Why do we not have a firing pin safety? Smith has the firing pin safety, or the striker safety, I guess, on this. If something went wrong in the trigger mechanism on the Ruger and somehow caused this hammer to fall, Ruger says it has the what they call their Safe Action 2.0 or something like that. And basically, from what I can tell from their promotional material, it's basically a half cock on the hammer that would catch. But you know, if that hammer somehow falls and strikes the firing pin, this gun's going off. On the Bodyguard, even if this striker springs forward, if this safety plunger is not depressed, it's not going to strike the primer. So while I'm sure the Ruger is not unsafe, to me, that firing pin safety is a big advantage. When you couple that with the takedown of the Smith & Wesson, and when you couple that with the ergonomics, I mean, this thing feels beautiful in your hand. Very nice grip, good texturing, and when you couple that with the fact that you can get it with a manual safety and you can on the Ruger, I would choose the Smith & Wesson. Now, the Smith & Wesson costs more. To me, that price difference is justified, just for the features you get. Now, to put this back together, you might remember we flipped down that ejector. Put it back together, you reassemble your slide, put it on, lock it back. You can reach it down in there and flip that ejector up, or you can just insert an empty magazine and that flips it up. Flip your takedown, ready to go. For the Ruger, pretty similar process. Reassemble your slide. See if you can get it to go on. Oh, sometimes this recoil spring is a little fidgety on the Ruger. You have to get it just right. Yeah, there we go. And then what you want to do is find your little pin. If you didn't lose it, push it back in. Now, one more thing I'll point out that is just plain nicer on the Smith & Wesson. I'm left-handed. They both have reversible magazine releases. On the Ruger, the procedure for switching that magazine release to the other side is basically to take a scribe, reach up inside the magazine well, and there's no way you'll be able to see it, but there's a little wire in there that you unhook and then hook on the other side. Smith & Wesson, it's actually kind of similar to a 1911 magazine release. Stick a screwdriver in there, push down, rotate a quarter of a turn. Magazine release will just come out as one unit. Flip it over, put it in the other way. Push down, rotate. Very simple procedure. The Smith & Wesson just feels nicer. And just kind of as an example, you hear that? If you can, I'll put it up here by the microphone. That's what the Ruger sounds like when you shake it. Now that's with no magazine in. Smith & Wesson. By the microphone. I mean, I'm shaking it maybe even harder than I was shaking the Ruger. Nothing. Solid. Ruger, kind of rattly. Now that it's not all downsides with the Ruger. I do kind of, and this is just personal preference, but I do kind of prefer the front sight on the Ruger. It's got a white ring around the tritium and it's bigger tritium dot versus the orange on the Smith & Wesson. But like I said, that's personal preference. I kind of like the rear sight on the Ruger better. It fits the front sight better. The Smith & Wesson has a much wider notch. Now this thumb safety is actually really nice. This is a extreme texture. If you sit here and flipped it up and down all day, it'll give you a blister. But very easy. Now this is my weak hand, this is my right hand, very easy. Left hand. Swipe it. I really like this safety, and I like that you can still work the slide, load and unload the pistol with the safety on. So I favor the Smith & Wesson. I think that the Ruger has been dethroned as the king of pocket carry. Now one thing I will say, the Ruger does come with a fabric pocket holster. Smith & Wesson does not. The Ruger also came with a magazine loader. Now it's just a little cheap plastic magazine loader, but the Smith & Wesson didn't come with one, or at least mine didn't. And these magazines for the Smith & Wesson, especially this 12-rounder, are impossible to load without a loader. I'm sure it'll break in. It's already getting a little easier, but for the first couple loadings, if you don't have a magazine loader, you cannot load this with 12 rounds. It's just not possible. And the Smith & Wesson didn't come with that. Now that being said, I will gladly take the 12-round magazine that's included any day over the pocket holster and the magazine loader that are included with the Ruger. But that's kind of my opinion on them. I really like this. I think this Bodyguard 2.0 is going to be a game changer. I think it's going to give Ruger a serious run for their money. And I think Smith & Wesson is going to sell 1 million of them. And I think it invites competition. Maybe Ruger will do some upgrades on the LCP Max line. We'll have to see. But that's the way I see it right now. We're going to go outside, shoot these, compare how they shoot, and then we'll come back. All right, so we're out here with the Bodyguard 2.0. We've also got the LCP Max. Right now, both of them have got the 10-round magazines in, and I've loaded each one with 5 rounds. We're just going to see which one feels better to shoot and is easier to hit with. I'm going to shoot them back to back, so let's start off Bodyguard 2.0 with the 10-round magazine. That felt pretty good, actually. That felt pretty good. We will try the LCP Max with the 10-round magazine, and there you go with that pinky hanging off the bottom with the 10-round magazine. But we'll see what we can do. Definitely more recoil. Stings your hand. I mean, it doesn't sting your hand bad, but it definitely stings your hand more than the Bodyguard 2.0, which is a pleasure to shoot. Now we're going to try them both with the 12-round magazines. So I've got the 12-round magazine for the Bodyguard 2.0. Let's see how that feels. Just too easy to shoot. I mean, this really is so pleasant to shoot. Absolutely pleasant to shoot. Let's try the 12-round magazine for the LCP Max. I've got it here in my back pocket. This is the one that I usually carry with the LCP Max so I can get a full grip. This does provide a full grip, unlike the 10-round magazine. Let's see how it feels to shoot. Definitely better than the 10-round magazine, but it's no comparison with the Bodyguard. The ergonomics, the grip, everything, the low bore axis, the Bodyguard 2.0 just feels better. You can get a better grip on it, points better. The LCP Max feels good, especially compared to the LCP 2 or the original LCP. The Max feels really good, but I far and away prefer how the Bodyguard feels. So we'll load them up again. We'll let the cameraman try a couple rounds and see what his conclusions are.
Okay, so now I'm gonna try taking some shots with both of these. I've got the LCP Max right now with the shorter flush fit magazine. I don't think I've shot that one yet at all. I think I shot this maybe a year ago when it came out, however long it's been. So we're gonna see which one I prefer, basically. So we'll start here with the LCP Max. All right, so that's that one empty. Now let's move on to the new Bodyguard. And this also has a flush fit magazine. Well, it didn't lock back that time. That's interesting. Also, apparently, I don't know where it hits because I only got one. Between the two, the Bodyguard feels more comfortable. Obviously shot the Ruger better, but I have shot it before a long time ago. This one didn't lock back. That's maybe just a break-in thing. But either way, when this came out, we thought it was as good as you could get for a pocket carry type gun. If you look at the two, I mean, it's no comparison which one would be better in the pocket. So I'm impressed with it. I like them both. I probably am erring closer to this one, but they're both great.
All right, so now we got the Bodyguard again. We got 10 rounds in the 10 round mag. You saw for the cameraman there, didn't lock open on the last shot. That could possibly be an issue of him riding the slide stop. He's right-handed. I'm left-handed, so my thumbs are on the other side and it's locked open for me. I don't know. One thing I will say is with an empty magazine, just pulling the slide back, the Bodyguard is much better about locking back than the Ruger. The Ruger, for the entire time I've had it, usually it will lock back shooting, but it almost never will lock back by just pulling the slide back on an empty magazine. So we'll see if it locks back this time. We got 10 rounds in the 10 round mag and see what we can hit. Man, that is a sweet shooting gun. This is actually the most enjoyable shooting 380 that I can think of. The only thing I can think of that would be better, which I've never shot, is like a Colt 1908 pocket hammerless in 380. I've shot the 32s and they're extremely pleasant, but this is great. Definitely more pleasant to shoot than like a PPK. Vastly more easy to shoot than the original LCP. I mean, it feels great. It really does. It's got a good trigger. Nothing to complain about from me. So that's all we've got. I highly recommend it. Great gun. So there we go. We shot the LCP Max and the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0 beside each other. To me, I feel like I can shoot this one faster and more accurately, more comfortably, more fun to shoot. The Ruger's still great, but the Smith & Wesson gets my recommendation. I think it's worth the extra money, at least it is to me, just to have the manual safety. So Ruger, make a manual safety model available. People want them. Not everybody's against manual safety. But there you go, guys. Check back in for the next video. We're going to be trying to pick up and make some more videos again. go check these both out in the store. Feel them both, see which one feels better to you, and be safe out there. Thanks.